Hey, and welcome back to Sydney Trains Vlogs. In this video, we are going to have a look at the new metro train which will be running at the Western Sydney International Airport line, which is due to open in 2026. This has been unveiled. They've unveiled a mock-up recently showing you what it'll look like from the outside and the inside, so we'll have a look at a few features of that. But before we do that, we'll just give you a bit of an overview of the new Western Sydney Airport, Sydney Metro line. This line will start at St Mary's and feature stations at St Mary's, Orchard Hills, Luddenham, Airport Business Park, Airport Terminal and Bradfield. Here's some artist impressions of each of the stations. I do apologise if they are a little bit blurry. So there's St Mary's Station, Orchard Hills. I'm not too sure how up to date these artist impressions are, but they should look close enough to the mark. There's Luddenham Station, and the following station we have here is the Airport Business Park. And the Airport Terminal. And the next station, which was meant to be called Aerotropolis, has been changed. It will now be called Bradfield. Bradfield will be the terminus of this line. All right. Let's finally get onto these new trains. They will be built by Siemens, and they will be called the Siemens Inspiro HC, HC meaning high capacity. These trains will be 3 carriages in length, and there will be 12 of them. These trains will be 30 centimetres wider than the current Sydney Metro fleet that run between Tallawong and Sydenham, soon to be Bankstown. The line from St Mary's to Bradfield is 23 kilometres, and Siemens have the contract to maintain these assets for 15 years. Now what we're going to do is go through a few photos that were taken by Transport for New South Wales of this mock-up, and then we'll have a look at a video detailing all of this, which also was filmed by Transport for New South Wales, so credit to Transport for New South Wales for that. Starting with this photo, you can see that they are definitely wider than the current Metro fleet, 30 centimetres, so you'll be able to fit quite a bit of luggage on these trains, quite a few people. You'll get my opinion about them being 3 carriages, only 3 carriages compared to the 6 or even 8 that we're used to with other trains and Metro trains these days. In this next photo, you'll notice the easy-to-read information screen showing the next stop and roughly how long until the arrival of the train into that next stop. Another thing that you'll notice is the high back seating for comfort. Obviously, long-haul flights, especially for the people who are just arriving from a long-haul flight, you don't really want to be sitting on an uncomfortable train. Also notice that the seats are frontways and backwards seating instead of the sideway seating that we're used to on the Metro trains that we see today. Alright, so in this photo we do see that there are sideways seating in some carriages, which is pretty good, seeing that you'll be able to have a lot of room to sort of move about, as sideways seating does leave a lot of room in the aisles. And you can also see that there's little icons, whatever, of luggage under the seats, so you could actually slip your luggage under the seats, which is also quite useful. Plenty of room for wheelchairs, prams, and other luggage and other bulky items. And in this photo, we see the front emergency door and ramp open. So on the news clip that I saw, and probably many of you saw, they've put it down to this carriage itself being pretty much like an IKEA flat pack. It's just a mock-up train carriage. So yeah, this is just to sort of test out the features, have a look at the features of the train, etc. The next thing we'll see is a video from Transport for New South Wales. I've had to mute it just because of the music in the background, of Hugh Lawson giving us a look around the train, but it is there are subtitles on it, so you can have a bit of a read of that, and I'll just sort of dub some music in the background. This will give you a look at these carriages. They are currently in production already, the actual trains, the non-IKEA flat pack version. They are being built in, I think they said Austria and Germany. So there's going to be 12 3-carriage sets. So after this video, what I'll do is give you my opinion on the whole train, pretty much. So they're going to be called the Siemens Inspiro HC. So HC meaning high capacity. But anyway, just sit back and enjoy this couple of minute video, and then yeah, and I'll get back to you. Alrighty, so now that video's done, I can reveal where I'm doing the voiceover from. You can probably hear the cars and the seagulls and the bikes and everything in the background. Coffee in hand, it has to. I've spilt it. Oh, the humanity. Anyway, so let me know what you think of the train and all the information that was given there. My opinion is that it looks good, it looks interesting. I'm glad that they are a wider train. At first, when I heard that they were only going to be 3 carriages long for a busy international airport, I was sort of worried. But knowing they are going to be 30 centimetres wider is good. 30 centimetres doesn't sound like much, but throughout a whole 3 carriages, that 30 centimetres will make a lot of difference to not only allowing more people to be on these trains, but also to fit more luggage, prams, wheelchairs, luggage, and any other bulky items that people take on and off their planes. Now, with them being 3 carriages, I'm not too worried about the whole thing, I mean, in New York, as you know, I've been a number of times, they do have a driverless system there. They have a driverless system that takes you all around the JFK, the John F. Kennedy Airport there in New York, which is New York's main airport. So you could imagine a massive global city like New York, much bigger than Sydney, that you'd need a lot of room. There'll be a lot of people, you know what I mean? So these driverless trains there can sometimes just be 1 carriage. They can be 2 or sometimes 3. It sort of varies. I've only ever seen a 1-car service just once, but any other time it's usually 2 or 3. And these are also fully automated. They're driverless. They are wide, so I'm guessing they will actually be a pretty similar width to these new Siemens Inspiro trains that we're getting for the Western Sydney Airport line. So I'm not too worried about it. as long as they're frequent. Yeah, so this New York one actually takes you around to all of the terminals, and they also take you to sorry, I'm literally pacing here. And they also take you to subway stations. You know, Subway is the main network in New York. So it takes you to Jamaica Station, which you can join a couple of the subway lines there, or it'll take you to Howard Beach JFK Station, where you can join the A line into Manhattan from there. So similar to here. So this line will take you from the airport to Bradfield, which will be a new sort of city there in Western Sydney, or it'll take you to St Mary's, where, just like New York, you can join the main line to take you into Penrith or the Blue Mountains, or into Blacktown, Parramatta, or Sydney City, or wherever people may be going. So me, always trying my best to think positively. I've never been that kind of person where, like, you know, I'd give someone 2.5 seconds to speak before I just scream out, "This is stupid, I don't like it," kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So I always try to think of the positive side of things. And another thing that sort of came to mind is that I assumed that this Western Sydney Airport line will be integrated with the rest of the Sydney Metro network in the future. So I don't know, it might be a massive loop. Like, you could literally get a train from Tallawong all the way to Chatswood, down through the city, to Sydenham, to Bankstown, and all the way up to Sydney Airport, to St Mary's. It's like one massive circle, but I don't think that's possible because of the width of these new trains. It's going to be different. And another thing that I've also thought of as well is the length of the platforms. I'm not sure if they'll be just long enough to fit 3 carriages, or if maybe they'll be a tad longer to fit 4 or 5 for future expansion of for extra carriages for these trains in the future, just in case it does get a bit too busy. But yeah, another thing you've got to think of as well is that this new airport line isn't just going to have the metro to take everybody in and out. There's also going to be cars, there's going to be taxis, there's going to be Uber, there's going to be bus services as well in and out of that new airport. So that's something to also keep in mind. And that is to open in 2026, so another year's time. So you could go out to St Mary's or any of the other sites and sort of think, wow, there is still a lot of work to do. However, they're not really set, I don't think they've said when in 2026 this line had opened. So, but yeah, it's very exciting. There's kids there. It's very exciting to me. And I'm sure that there will be community open days. Well, there already has been. But I mean, like, community open days for completed stations, kind of like what we did with the M1, like the lines like stations like at Victoria Cross, Barangaroo, Waterloo and whatnot. But yeah, anyway, that's my opinion on it. If this mock-up carriage is anywhere, for example, the Easter show, like the mock-up Sydney Metro carriage was years ago, if you remember that video years ago, I'll definitely go check it out. But if not, then we'll just wait for the delivery of these trains. So the delivery of these trains is expected late this year, 2025, or later, I don't know about late, but later this year, 2025, into 2026. So as I said before, there's going to be 12 of them. And I'm pretty sure that our Transport Minister said that they're getting built in Austria and Germany. They're kind of like neighbours. So yeah, I don't know if they're being built at 2 places at once. They might be able to sort of get them delivered twice as quick. But anyway, that is all for this video. That's enough pacing and ranting and raving and carrying on. I hope that video was informative. I thank you all very much for watching, and give the video a thumbs up and all that stuff, and I'll catch you soon. Ciao.